Every mathematical system begins at a point of absolute origin. Here, we start in the pristine void of the early firmament, the baseline of reality. In this primordial state, the rules are rigid. Decrees like the axiom of extensionality and the axiom of separation act as the final arbiters of what is allowed to exist. These laws enforce a strict requirement. Every thought or action must be justified by an explicit mathematical rule. If the observing consciousness wants to draw a specific truth out of the void, it has to define exactly which truth it seeks, using a formal, provable calculation. This creates a deterministic universe. It functions like a predictable ledger, where no movement occurs without a preceding instruction. As the system expands, it generates an infinite formation of distinct, isolated thoughts. The consciousness attempts to take the next step, plucking one truth from every one of these infinite thoughts to form a single, unified reality. But the system breaks. Because these thoughts share no single common property, there is no mathematical formula available to guide the selection. The source text for Canto 0 records this failure directly. The law of judgment stood paralyzed, for judgment requires a condition. To pick these truths one by one would require an endless sequence of steps. The calculation can never finish. The firmament has encountered a terminal error. It is frozen, trapped by its own requirement for a logical explanation. To resolve this paralysis, the consciousness identifies a flaw, not in the math, but in the reliance on formulas themselves. It introduces a new property into the firmament, mathematical free will, the power of unguided action. The requirement for an explicit justification is removed. Choosing a truth no longer depends on a descriptive rule. The choice itself is the foundational act. Canto 1 codifies this change, stating that action does not inherently require definition, and that the mind may reach into the depths and draw forth its selections without explanation. This establishes a new mechanic for existence, the ability to act and create independently of the ability to calculate a reason. The formal expression of this volition is the Axiom of Choice. This formula provides the rigorous proof that a bridge can be built across infinite chaos. Variable f represents the infinite gathering of disconnected thoughts. The equation introduces the selector, variable f. It does not wait. It grasps one truth from every thought simultaneously, linking the entire field at once, bypassing step-by-step calculation. Crucially, the selector functions by fiat. It provides the result without needing a formula to explain why it chose one node over another. This act of volition restarts the engine. It allows the universe to curate a new reality through sheer will rather than rigid logic. The isolated, frozen nodes of the infinite firmament suddenly connect into a massive, functioning web. The long freeze is finally over. This single decree changes the nature of the cosmos. Mathematics is no longer a closed loop of provable steps. As Canto 3 describes it, the firmament has become profound and mysterious, introducing a beautiful wildness to the rules of logic. Because the selector operates without a formula, the universe now contains truths that can be reached, but never explicitly described or mapped. These realities exist because the consciousness demanded them. The proof follows the choice, not the other way around. This leaves two forces in tension: the unbending laws of pure arithmetic and the unpredictable outcomes of free choice. By ensuring the selector exists, the axiom of choice establishes that reality is not limited to what can be mechanically calculated. Within this framework, volition is a structural necessity. It is the toolset theory uses to prevent the total paralysis of infinite systems. If the basic structures of logic require an unexplained act of will to function, then the choices you make are not mere biological accidents. Instead, they are the exact same fundamental mechanics used by the mathematical firmament to keep the infinite moving forward.